Hi guys, this is my persuasive speech. Vaccines have been a major debate in the recent years. As you've seen in the media, Gwyneth Paltrow is heavily anti-vaccine, and many people are deciding to follow her and become anti-vaccinators. And some are deciding to be heavily pro-vaccine, heavily you need to vaccinate your kids or this'll happen. While this choice is ultimately up to you as a person, I'm going to tell you why you should vaccinate your children. My first point being vaccines do not cause autism. They don't. And this has been a debate since 1998. And in 1998, the MMR vaccine, the measles, mumps, rubella vaccine, it was believed to have caused autism. A study was conducted and it found that this was true. But this study had many flaws. At the time of this study, there was a massive rise in autism diagnoses, meaning more kids were just being diagnosed and diagnosed. More kids were just autistic. And it only looked at 12 children in this study. Upon publication, this study became replicated by many, and it was actually 12 times to be exact. It was proven false. Later it was found that along with the many flaws, lawyers paid out the company that did the study around $400,000, and it was thrown out. In 1999, there was a shift from blame being on the vaccine itself to it falling on a substance in the vaccines called thimerosal, and that contained small traces of mercury. But in 2001, this substance was removed from vaccines due to the controversy surrounding it. Later, the CDC compared two groups of children, those who received vaccines on time following the schedule set, and those who did not receive them at all or received them delayed, and there was no difference between the rate of autism between these two groups. These facts did come from WebMD, and pretty much, do vaccines cause autism? My second point, vaccines protect not only us, but those around us. There's a concept called community immunity, or better known as herd immunity. This concept is based on the fact that in a community, germs travel from one person to another person quickly by hand, shaking, or even breathing. Being vaccinated slows this movement down, making it more difficult to pass the germ from person to person, protecting those who are too young to be vaccinated or those who are medically unable to be vaccinated. Now that we know herd immunity, we can talk about how it protects and sometimes abolishes certain diseases. Let's propose you're in a crowd of people. Some of you are vaccinated, some of you are not. This excludes those medically unable to and very young babies. Someone has the MMR bacteria virus in this group, and they shake hands with someone who's not vaccinated against it. That person now has the bacteria. They can pass it on to the next. Say they shake hands with someone who's vaccinated. That person doesn't pass it on because the disease isn't breeding in them, it's being fought by them. And then this continues happening. Say the person with MMR is still shaking hands with people who aren't vaccinated, and those people are continuing to spread it, but those who aren't vaccinated are stopping it. And that'll lead to keeping the babies safe and keeping those who can't be vaccinated safe. That is basically herd immunity summed up. By vaccinating your children, you are contributing to herd immunity and protecting not only them from these preventable diseases, but those who can't be protected. And that is from vaccines.gov and how they work. And my third point, vaccines can save your child's life. Diseases that once ravaged the nation, killing many, they've been eliminated or are close to elimination. Let's take polio, for example. This was once feared in the US because it caused paralysis and death across children in the nation. One of our presidents actually had polio and he was paralyzed. Now, Thanks to vaccines, there are no reports of polio in the United States. Other examples of diseases that have been eradicated or are near eradicated thanks to vaccines include diphtheria, which is eradicated. Tetanus is near eradication. Measles is near eradication. Smallpox has been wiped out. Pertussis, also known as whooping cough, is near eradication, but is also coming back due to people not being vaccinated for it. And these are preventable through vaccines. You are at risk of a comeback due to the lack of vaccines being given to your children. These are from the CDC and immunizeforgood.com. In conclusion, vaccines are ultimately the choice of the parent, and research can be done. You can choose to opt out of certain vaccines for your children, or just get them vaccinated all on schedule like recommended. And though you need to keep in mind, vaccines and autism are not linked. Vaccines promote herd immunity, and by not vaccinating your child, you are decreasing the herd immunity. And you can save your child's life. You can save future generations' lives from preventable diseases by just vaccinating. This is why you should vaccinate your children.